We're already recording. Okay. I demand perfect silence for my introduction. Hi, and welcome to Front Seat Gamer. This is episode 4. I'm your host, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
I'm here. Hi, Saveun. I'm here with Saveun.
Hey.
I'm a chronic alcoholic.
and Blake. Not chronic. This is our 4th episode. We're slowly and incrementally improving our audio quality,
Yeah.
I think. If you've gone back and heard our first episodes.
About that,
Yeah.
did you listen to the last episode, right?
Of course. Maybe
Right?
3 times.
Yeah, and right at the start, you're like, yes, we got the audio all sorted
I
out.
was excited.
Yeah,
We
and then over the course of that episode, you get more
I
and more
apologize.
echoey.
I'm very sorry. And I don't know what was going on.
What's
with
weird
that.
is that this got nothing to do with the microphones. Saveun just is echoey.
Yeah,
He just,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
over time,
yeah.
in the course of a day, he himself gets echoier.
I have one of those holes in your throat that smokers have.
Yeah, and in your trachea.
Produces echo.
And mucus. There's just tons of mucus. Anyway, we don't have like a huge amount of news to talk about this week at all.
No, not really.
Anybody at all do anything exciting?
Blake?
Okay, so... Man, you always just point me out straight away.
I'm sorry. You look like you have something to say.
Got a lot of problems with you guys. I gotta finally get these off my chest. So yesterday, me and 3 other guys from Grinding Gears went over to a rival game studio.
On Saturday?
And
Oh yeah, it's Sunday. So Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We went over there to play them at Handball.
and which rival studio was this?
Ninja Kiwi.
Ninja Kiwi.
Yeah.
We're calling you out.
We call them rivals, they're not really.
Hate
really
you guys.
They don't actually make video games.
I think I
Oh.
met 2 of you and I hated both of you.
Oh.
No, I love you guys.
But we got a bit of a tour of their studio.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Is it better than
Very nice.
our 3 rooms?
So when we walked in the front door, there was a go left or go right. They got a sort of thing like that.
An
And we-
intersection.
yeah, they got an intersection as soon as you walk in,
Uh-huh.
and there's a big sign, Ninja Kiwi, and we got shown through one of the ways, and it came out into their break room with their kitchen and tables and stuff like that.
We can actually bring a Ninja Kiwi employee
Yeah.
onto the podcast. You don't have to
Oh,
tell us about
oh, right,
it.
right.
I want to hear
Yeah,
about
but
it.
I mean,
Okay.
I
Whatever.
guess the point I'm trying to make is that their break room is bigger than our office.
Okay.
Now, when you say it's bigger than our office, like any individual office, because we've got 3.
Okay, their
Rooms,
break room is
basically.
not as big as our 3 offices combined,
Uh-huh.
but they're as big. It's bigger than one of
Any-
those offices.
any individual
yeah,
office,
any
yeah.
individual one. Yeah,
That's not great.
yeah. It's pretty incredible.
Don't tell us about this, Blake. This is not.
I saw how the other half lived.
You've seen the 1%.
Yeah.
How about you, Saveun? What have you been up to?
Not too much. I was hanging out with my brother over the last couple of days. Dropped him off at the airport this morning, and so it was mainly just catching up with him. No, we didn't play video games. I did show him the order, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's always interested in where graphics technology is.
Okay.
So I showed him that.
Is he big on video games though?
No, but he is curious because he sees it as like the vehicle pushing technology.
Okay. Cool.
Like if it looks realistic, then he knows that okay, we can actually do realistic. So he bases it off that kind of thing. It's a way to gauge technology, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is how good the video games look. That's
Yeah.
kind of true, I think.
I think there's a lot of truth to it, but so many things come together to make that. What about you, Nick? You've been up to anything?
No. This weekend was the pre-release of the new set of Magic cards. I could be there playing, but instead I'm here talking to you guys. So
You came out on top.
I think I made the wrong choice.
So
No.
about that, do you remember last week when I had that news that I thought I'd heard somewhere about the next release being free to play?
Yeah, I didn't at all look into that. Did you?
Yeah, I did. It's totally true.
Oh,
in
neat.
July, I think there's a big new game.
Wait, are you calling
coming
it out? Are you saying you think it's going to come
No,
out in
it
July?
is.
You're predicting it again?
No, I'm. It's coming out.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
From what I read.
Yeah. Okay.
From
Awesome.
these 2 websites that I've never visited before.
So it's a new online Magic game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. Well, it's gonna eat up all my time. I haven't really been playing much of anything this week because I still don't have a computer chair. So if any of our listeners want to mail me a computer, no, don't do that.
There are standing desks now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kidding me? I hate standing.
You've got probably like a quarter of a chair, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
'cause didn't you get mailed like extra pieces?
What?
Yeah, I've given up the normal computer chair. I'm on a kneeling chair right now. It's apparently
A
better for your back.
kneeling chair.
It's pretty good.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It's good. It's not where you can't like sit back in it,
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
but it's good for my back. I've had
Okay.
like back problems.
Oh, okay.
So-
How's it on your knees?
Okay, because you can also sit on it without your knees. You know, if you just plant your feet on the ground.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
You're
I thought it
describing
was-
as standing.
okay.
No. You're actually sitting. You're sitting down.
Oh, okay. So nothing big in the actual gaming news
Um,
that I can think of.
the only thing I can
Speak.
think of, but there's not actually much to talk about it, is just Nintendo talking about.
Oh yeah! Oh, I totally did want to talk about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah?
Oh,
Oh,
my
cool.
god, Nintendo making mobile games with DNA.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, this is an interesting thing because Nintendo is the only times Nintendo's ever experimented with making games not on their consoles was when they made it for Panasonic's terrible thing. They made those like awful animated Zelda things.
Yeah, they don't
Okay.
even acknowledge.
Yeah, which are not canon and
Oh, yeah,
They're all,
yeah.
like-
I've heard of that.
yeah. So this is sort of a big deal. People have been hoping for years and years. When I say people, I mean like people who don't buy Nintendo consoles have been hoping for years that Nintendo would start doing like Android and iPhone games.
I've been wanting Pokemon on
Yeah, on phones. and
on
stuff.
phone forever.
So this is quite interesting. And to me, if I'm going to make some wild speculation here,
Sweet.
this is a strong indication to me that Nintendo's next handheld console will be a phone-ish device.
Yeah, because they did announce at the same thing that they were working on some new hardware called
Yeah,
NX or something.
Something like that.
And they really didn't say anything about it other than they were working on it.
Uh-huh.
But do you think that could be some kind of phone?
Yeah, I don't see why it couldn't be. You know, like so. Though I'd say the main argument against this theory is that Nintendo usually pitches their consoles at a very young market, and you don't. I mean, I imagine there are a lot of parents who don't want to give a phone to their 8-year-old. You know,
Yeah, but kids are getting phones earlier and earlier these
true.
days.
that's true.
Do you not think it's more of a push towards mobile? Well, sorry, not mobile. Handheld devices.
Well,
Maybe another SKU. There's
I
something
mean,
with.
Nintendo's always been like championing handhelds,
They
right?
basically dominate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the iPhone and the Androids have taken a big bite into that, and I would say that this is the next hardware outing has to directly compete with that. Otherwise, it's just going to fall off the map.
I can't imagine them being too happy with like having to go through Apple to get permission, you know, to
Right.
put their stuff on the App Store.
I mean, luckily Apple doesn't develop games, so they're not actually a competitor. to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. But I mean,
are
you
a-
still have to go through
Sure.
Apple to put stuff up there.
Yeah, that is sort of a weird dynamic for them because
But if they have their own phone, you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think Nintendo will be bringing out another console anytime soon?
Man, my dream is that they come out with something as good as the current ones, right?
Oh no, I think.
As in,
I don't
like-
think you'll ever see that.
as good
Well,
as
I mean, that's why
PlayStation.
I'm saying it's a dream, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that was their strategy for years, right?
Yeah.
Up until the Wii,
Yeah.
the strategy was like keep pushing technology. But you know, it's not that can only sustain for so long.
You know, I don't think it was a very like pushing technology forward type studio. Type enterprise or whatever you'd want to call Nintendo. Like, I think they were mainly focusing on gameplay elements, and if you could do it with a really crappy computer, then they stuck with the crappy computer. If they could pull off gameplay to whatever their creators could think of, then that was the hardware they could.
I don't know. I mean, the Nintendo 64 was like kind of a powerhouse back then, and then the GameCube, while it was sort of usurped by the Xbox to some extent, was better than the PlayStation 2 in terms of what it could do. You know, they were really like. They were talking, like, one of their big talking points was what the graphics can do, and then it was only with the Wii that it became more about what the whole console experience is like.
Yeah.
Like, now you're waving your arms, and now you've got a second screen, and now.
The thing is, do you think we're kind of tired of that now, or do you think? Do you think general consumers are sort of tired of that and would like to see something from Nintendo with comparable graphics?
I think.
I mean, I'm not saying
I would say that a lot
Mario or anything.
Yeah,
but
I'd say a lot of fans probably want Nintendo to release a big graphical powerhouse. And I think that would be a mistake on Nintendo's part.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because it's gonna have the same problems that current Nintendo hardware has, and that they're probably not gonna be able to attract a whole bunch of developers. And it's competing with consoles that are already out and huge established fan bases. By offering something different, they're not as directly competing with like Microsoft and Sony. It's just like you're the Xbox guy or you're a PlayStation guy, but then everybody also kind of sometimes has a Nintendo console.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of people. Yeah, the last generation, a lot of people were like that. A lot of people I knew had Wiis and played them from time to time.
And also, I think the experimentation is really healthy. Like the 2DS was like, I mean the DS rather was like that was an interesting change, right? It was the first console that had two screens outside of like those early old Game & Watches.
Outside of their original like Donkey Kong handheld. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean also like the fact that it had a touchscreen this is before the iPhone came out, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the 3D tech on the 3DS is awesome. It may not have like really changed the way the games work at all, but it was still cool.
Sure.
But
so you're excited about mobile?
I want to see what Nintendo's doing.
I just want Pokemon on my Android. That's all.
I'm also a little bit bummed that they're making games for other hardware, because like I like that Nintendo does Nintendo consoles and Nintendo games on their Nintendo consoles. When you buy a Nintendo console, I like that you're opening up your world to all of the awesome Nintendo games. I don't want half-assed mobile games, basically, is what I'm saying. I don't want like a half-assed Mario game.
Do you think Nintendo will half-ass things?
I don't know. I don't think
they will.
I think that what they said was they were working alongside DNA, which to me sounds like we're giving them the license.
Do you know anything about them, or are they just like a Japanese cell phone company?
I know they have an office in San Francisco. I don't know anything else.
Yes. Was there anything else in the news at all?
No, but not that I can think of. But Saveun, I know, has been dying to talk about
Rockstar.
He's just been itching.
But this shouldn't take too much time.
Okay.
But it's mainly, I think...
You can take as much time as you want.
Well, it's pretty easy to say. No, I think Red Dead's coming out, a new Red Dead.
Okay. So
I think, but the reason I think it will be another Red Dead is because of the way the remastered Grand Theft Auto 5 is. Okay. So I've noticed that Rockstar likes to develop things sort of before they actually put them into the game. So an example would be before they made Grand Theft Auto 4, they were working on that ping pong game.
Yep.
The ping pong game was actually sort of like an experiment to get that Euphoria engine in, that animation engine in, that really awesome physics-based animation.
Yeah,
thing.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so, they make that game, they figure out, they get to play around with that engine, they get it in the game, and then they put it in full force on 4.
Yep.
So what I'm seeing with, and they've actually done it with DLC for Grand Theft Auto 4. So with the first one, they had a mechanic where you're riding on motorcycles, but your crew also rides together with you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it might not seem too crazy, but that's the same kind of tech they used in Red Dead with riding in posses with horses.
Was
So
that,
it's just, it's smart.
They're
for
just
them to develop it
incrementally
like this.
adding features and then spreading those features across other games.
It's really good because they can
I
test
love
it
it.
out. And
Yeah. I think it's just like everyone should be doing this. But with so Grand Theft Auto 5 came out,
Yep.
and then they remastered it. Well, yeah, they have the current gen version of it, and a main push was it was foliage. It was it was trees. They're reworking trees,
Yep.
and that lends
But
it
Red Dead's
to,
in a desert, man.
There are trees in the desert, cactus. They have amazing looking cacti
Wow.
in Grand Theft Auto 5. And that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking.
Okay,
dude,
well, all right.
Dude, it lends itself to that.
Let me
No, it totally
let me
does,
throw an
yeah.
idea at you here.
Sure.
Following that pattern,
Mm-hmm.
one of the big additions that GTA 5 really added was online multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's potential that Rockstar might be working on something more online focused?
In what universe?
It could be any. I mean, it doesn't. It could be any universe. It
So
could be
you're saying a brand new IP? Something
not
entirely new?
necessarily. It could be a Red Dead game. It could be a Red Dead.
Well, you're saying because the online is so well done in.
I don't know how well
Grand
done
Theft
it
Auto.
is. I just know that it's
it's a big thing.
It was a big feature.
That their next big thing is going to have more online stuff.
Well, yeah, or
only
so
online or something like
here,
that.
here's what we know GTA or Rockstar has done really well, and here's what they really did very, very well in GTA 5. They did big open world with lots of different areas. Like the core part of the city looks very different to the desert part, which looks very different to when you go into the hills or whatever.
Yep. Oh, there's a desert and hinting at.
Yeah, dude, it's all coming together. It all makes sense now.
and they've got online multiplayer capable of supporting was it 16 or 32 players?
They
Something
had
like that.
16 on PlayStation 3,
Uh-huh.
and they're supporting up to 30 on current gen.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure what it is on PC. I'm guessing 30.
Oh no, it's not out yet.
So
I wouldn't know. Couldn't tell.
and now they've got missions. They've got these heists.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds a lot like an MMO.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
okay.
That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
wow.
So you're just
Um,
straight up saying.
I'm just
MMO
saying,
is the
a
next
lot
thing.
of these
Making an MMO.
features, if
Is it gonna
they're
be Bully 2 as a MMO?
It could.
heck yeah,
So
for that.
here's the thing. The reason I don't think it's Bully 2 is because I don't think Bully 2 is a big enough thing to sustain a huge audience.
Sure.
I don't think it tests technology enough, with, like Rockstar enough. It's
Yeah.
almost like how Naughty Dog made Crash Bandicoot, and they started making Uncharted,
Yep.
and then The Last of Us. You can't go back to making Crash Bandicoot again because your
I don't know.
your
They could do
quality-
a gritty, dark Bandicoot, man.
I don't think you could, and I think this is what Rockstar is doing.
Okay.
I think it's probably going to be something we don't even know about, but I would
you
put my
reckon
finger on
it's Red Dead?
I
Would
think
you-
it's but also, let's not forget they teased another new IP at a PlayStation E3 event called Agent years ago. Do you remember this?
This
game?
rings a bell.
No one ever saw anything of it, but they just showed a
Like a-
logo.
Like a
pretty
title.
much. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow, when was this?
I think it might have been 3 years ago.
Okay.
Agent certainly doesn't sound like a Red Dead game. It
No.
could be totally new IP.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it could be. I'm just speculating and saying, I think and hope it's the Red Dead because everyone loved that game.
I think
It's been 5 years since that game, and I think
Yeah.
the fans would love a new Red Dead game.
sure. I reckon they're going to be working on a SpongeBob SquarePants port.
Damn it, Nick! Don't do this to me.
It's going to be very low quality. 2D platformer. You
It's
collect
going to be a
bubbles.
mobile game.
Are you? Did Rockstar ever have anything to do with SpongeBob? Is this
No.
like some kind of?
I'm just pulling
this
something
out of
out.
your butt.
Just pulling it out of my butt, like so many SpongeBob's.
Oh yeah, I can also segue into the next segment. This is one.
Oh,
just,
actually, before you do that, did you heard about the TV show, right?
yes, dude, that's awesome. I can't. I'm excited.
The TV show?
Yeah, there's going to be I think it's more of a one-off.
Oh, yeah,
Documentary.
the Rockstar developer
Yeah.
documentary special thing, right?
Yeah, made by the BBC, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm so keen to see that, like behind the scenes stuff for game studios is awesome.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that as well because I've heard stories.
Would you like to talk about it?
I don't want to get sued.
Okay. Wow.
No, I remember reading about like one of the like PR or like sales executives or something. Some woman who had been working at Rockstar. She got like phones thrown at her by one of the two lead like heads of one of the two brothers who runs it.
How do you know she didn't deserve it?
That is, she might have maybe. I don't know. Maybe she did. What do you have to do to deserve a phone being thrown at you though? It's gotta be pretty bad.
Maybe she was looking at it and she needed it really quick, and the Hauser brothers were like,
maybe she said, "Hey, can you pass me that phone?
Yeah,
I need it really fast."
and
Straight at my head.
Maybe the phone
fumbled on it,
rang.
and then she asked for another phone.
Oh, I don't know.
She said, "Thank you. Can I have another?"
Oh my god,
That's terrible.
I'm distancing myself from this.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
The next thing I wanted to talk about, just an interesting Rockstar side fact.
Oh, yeah.
But
Fact of the day.
If you look into Wikipedia on the most expensive video games to develop, so I just have a top 10 list and I can read down.
I think I can guess one that's on the top 10.
Tell me.
That's Star Wars: Old Republic.
Yeah, Star Wars: Old Republic is probably number one.
No, not number one. Number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
It is number 5, and it takes into consideration inflation too.
Okay.
So if I just run down from 10.
Wait. I want to guess one.
Okay.
Skyrim
is not there. It's not in the top 10.
Boo.
Number 1, everyone should know, it's Destiny at half $500 million.
Yep.
Destiny.
Half a billion?
Yeah.
Oh, what about
Where did it go?
That's what I want to know.
half a billion? Yeah.
What
the hell?
I'm baffled. I don't.
Oh, I know one.
Tell me.
APB.
Oh, right.
No,
No.
They spent $100 million.
Okay,
on
so the top 10 is substantially more.
Okay.
At number 10, very appropriately, Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
Number 9, Max Payne 3. Number 8, Too Human. Number 7,
Whoa, Too Human.
Oh yeah, that was a nightmare though,
Yeah.
right? That was just stuck in development hell forever.
Number 7, Grand Theft Auto 4. Number 6, Shenmue 2.
Shenmue.
Shenmue 2. 5, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Okay.
Number 4, we have Final Fantasy 7.
What? Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Adjusted for inflation, huh?
Yeah. So it was. Let me just scroll it up. I think 145 million, but in today's dollars, 213 million.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Number 3 is Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 2 is Modern Warfare 2. Number 1, Destiny. But one interesting thing I want to point out is that Rockstar is in there like four times.
It's almost as if they have a lot of resources for their games.
No, but not only that. You know how they're constantly making stuff and that it's feeding back into.
Yeah.
They're developing on top of what they currently have. It's awesome. So a lot of that money is retained and putting it forward to like new projects.
If so much of that money is retained,
no, I'm not
why
saying
are
a
they
lot of
on
it.
there so many times?
Yeah, well, art happens to cost a lot of money, so I think it's creating art assets.
Okay, and it was funny. I was talking to you earlier about this.
No, don't bring this up, Nick.
What?
No.
Okay, no.
We were talking about how
the Shield?
No.
Oh no.
The giant
No, we're talking
before the podcast
we're
about
gonna,
the Shield.
We're gonna skip that can of worms. We're talking about how they retain so much of their stuff and how they also have Midnight Club is one of their franchises.
Yep.
And how bad the driving was in GTA 4. What happened?
So okay, if I'm just to speculate again, they were doing so many things with 4. I think is what was going on, and so it's just priorities took over, and you're left with something's not implemented as well as they should have been, which is why 5 came along and corrected everything.
Yep.
Did they correct everything?
I
Would you say
think
that
so.
5 is the perfect game?
Well, what I want to say is quite grand a statement.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
I have another
Name
question. when
3
you're done.
things that are wrong or bad with GTA 5.
I can't. I think it's the peak of entertainment.
Okay, all right.
now.
Let me ask you this question. It's just sort of a twist on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name something that you would improve, and how would you improve it?
Oh, dude, yes. They don't have tidal waves. They don't have waves on water.
Okay. So yes. When you're jet skiing,
they have water that ripples like this. They don't have actual tidal waves.
Okay.
right?
So
I
they
see what
don't
you're
have
saying.
surfing in there yet.
No, but it's a water thing.
So you want
so-
actual tide? You want an actual tide, like a tidal flow? And,
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Okay.
And I think what they will start doing with this current generation
Wait.
is
Sorry.
grass. I think they're just gonna do really cool things with the environment, with nature, with Red Dead is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Or are they working on the world's best surfing game?
Ooh, maybe
Oh my god.
next,
just to be the in between.
the next
Uh-huh.
California games
California.
brought to you by Rockstar. Sweet hacky sack. What's a hacky sack tech like in Grand Theft Auto?
Well, they've already got their ping pong down, so
Yeah.
just make it sandier. Fill that ping pong ball with sand. You're good. Is it the hacky sack, or is it beads inside the
think it
hacky
is
sack?
Whatever you want, man.
Okay. Has there been a good hacky sack game?
Man, I don't know.
Has there been a hacky sack game?
I think California Games did it so well.
Yeah, I think that was
no
the
one's
peak.
no ever attempted to
Right. No, that makes sense.
take that.
Yeah. Why would you improve on something that's perfect?
Of course.
You can't. Do you want to jump ahead to some questions?
Sure. Yeah.
Some questions from our, I guess they were going to be listeners. Who knows if they actually listen? From our
people.
off-topic Path of Exile forums. John Grammaticus writes, how many hours per week do you guys work, and do you crunch before big releases?
So the I can say that the art is done so well ahead that there is very little crunch. If anything, it's more promotional stuff, which is mainly 2D.
Yeah. I don't know if I should say, but the banner stuff was the promotional banners for websites. That had a little bit of crunch involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, Blake and I, being 3D artists, we're working on acts well in advance.
Yeah.
of what you guys
Although
are.
I will say too, because they wanted to have some new areas for Act 4 ready to show at GDC, and I did have to crunch a little bit myself to get some of those areas looking good. Yeah. But that was a kind of a one-off thing.
Okay. I can speak for design. Yes, we crunch.
Oh yeah.
How many hours?
Well, our average week is 40 hours. I think that's probably the case with you guys, right?
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, just normal work week. During crunch, it depends on how bad the patch is. When I first started working, I started working 3 weeks before we released Sacrifice of the Vol.
Okay.
And I remember there being like a 14-hour day at least, which is, quite a lot longer than your average work day. And that was like in the last week or so. I think the last week and a half before the patch was really crunchy. With the previous, or with the one after the Forsaken Masters, there was maybe about a week of crunch. And a lot of that crunch wasn't from design, except for like the last night. Yeah. Where I think a couple of designers were up very, very late working on the PvP pre-made characters, trying to get them balanced against each other.
I remember the Forsaken Masters stuff because it was that thing that Sav was just saying where I worked on that probably 6 or 8 months before it came out.
Yeah, you guys are lucky.
Yeah.
I know that our programmers, they really often crunch. Like a couple weeks before a patch will come out, you'll start seeing them staying quite late, and then there will be several very late nights, especially like usually just before release. We'll have usually a couple designers, usually a couple programmers, and at least Chris will probably be up all night making sure everything's good.
Yeah. I do remember when the game finally came out of open beta and actually was released, there was some people in the office for a couple of days straight Just, I think that was more server issues, though.
Yeah, I think it was.
We don't have those anymore.
We were too
I
popular.
don't think we get like,
Damn.
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Another question from Akazaki. If Path of Exile did not exist, what would each of you be doing? Where do you see yourselves in a world without Path of Exile?
Shall we go for this, Sav?
Sure. Yeah, I can take it. I'd be in game development. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if Path of Exile didn't happen,
Okay.
I would have been in it. It's what I studied for, and I would like to say I'm pretty experienced with it. So either here or Canada always was the dream of.
Yep.
If something didn't work out here, I would have wanted to move to Canada.
There was a long time that that was also thought of with Australia.
For you?
Well, when I was studying, a lot of the tutors were saying, "Yeah, go to Australia, you'll get hired like instantly." But then a bunch of studios
closes down.
Yeah, a bunch of studios over there closed down like right after we graduated. So I was like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
Yeah. As someone who lived in Australia.
Oh yeah.
There were no game development jobs over there. I would probably still be working in a crummy social media job that I didn't like very much and wasn't very good at. But desperately looking for game development work in Australia, which is a lot harder than you'd think. That country has a lot of very good game developers.
Yeah.
None of whom are working.
Oh, weird.
It's really bad. A big part of it is just that it's really, really hard to get enough money for a good project. You'll often get studios who get a little bit of money and they'll start working on something, and there's like a few tantalizing grants hanging over their heads that they're sort of half banking on. Okay. And then something falls through, or it turns out there's a weird condition for it, and then like their projects just don't get finished. They get canceled, or they have to cut it short. And that's why most of the notable games that have come out of Australia in the last 10 years have been individual indie working projects, this one guy working on it for 4 years straight, or it's small mobile games with a team of 4 or 5 people,
like Crossy Road,
or
Fruit
Ninja. Well, although they are now quite large, they have I think I heard 90 people.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a friend or so. I've got a couple friends there.
Oh. That's strange too, because I've heard that Australia has much better sort of government backing for the games industry, and we, I'm pretty sure, don't have anything.
Yeah. The Australian government does have some backing stuff. There's also there's not enough studio leadership in Australia, I think.
Okay.
You've got a lot of students and a lot of independent developers who will get into these sort of loose clusters and work on stuff, but they don't really have a good direction, and they don't really know how to market their games, and they don't really even have necessarily a good end goal. Yeah. And I think that's...
So it's almost like, how we have the Auckland Game Dev Meetup. Yeah. It's like a bunch of indie people from that sort of thing just getting together and making something, and then not actually knowing then where to go from there. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of a problem. A lot of... It's just... I think a lot of it is just that the people who really cared about the business side of games saw how badly the business side of games went in the last 15 years. Yeah. And just got out of it. And now there's just... people who are in it for sort of a lot of it is sort of the artistic pursuit, and occasionally you'll get the success stories like Antechamber. Oh yeah, and then that wasn't an Australian?
Yeah, that was a Melbourne. Yeah, that was a Melbourne guy. Yeah. God damn. Yeah, it was a great game. Yeah. But that's what you're surprised, right? Yeah. Because it was one guy basically.
I was surprised when I found out Fruit Ninja was an Australian studio.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really indie. Also Faster Than Light FTL. It's Australian.
Really?
Yep.
So they have out there. They've got some good
indie stuff and really good small teams, but there's just no good leadership to aggregate it and get funding. So that's just it's a lot of people sort of paying their own way through until and banking on hopeful success or not managing the small amounts of money that they get. for the scope of the project that they need.
I guess New Zealand studios are all indie, basically, except for maybe Gameloft.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, I think that the size of the average New Zealand indie studio is larger than...
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit more formalized as a studio. I'd say a lot of New Zealand studios are mid-sized.
We have, like, large outliers.
Yeah.
And then we still have the small, like, 2 or 3 man teams and stuff like that.
True. Yeah, we've got 50-something employees, and then how many does Kiwi Ninja have?
Ninja Kiwi. They said.
Sorry,
I think
guys.
they said.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, Ninja Kiwi. Geez, I can't remember. I think they said 30 something, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
We do have a massive support staff though, which I don't know if they actually have.
And there's Pickpock. I wonder how many guys Pickpock.
Yeah, I don't know. They when they were still called She, they got up to like 80 something. I remember hearing. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd gotten over 100, and then went back down to something less when they turned to Pickpock. Yeah.
Wow. Makes you think, doesn't it? Not really. So one more question. I'm curious to know how the devs like to relax after a hard day at GGG headquarters. I play Hearthstone and sit on my amazingly comfortable couch and pet my cat.
I always think that's weird with our jobs, because our jobs is to make games and sit in front of monitors all day. And then to go home, we're like, finally I can relax and sit in front of a monitor.
Finally I can sit down and use a computer. Look at some games for a while. Oh, man. But no, I mean, a lot of that just comes down to the fact that we love games, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
Just go home and try. Yeah, I'm caught up with doing chores and things like that. You know, having to cook dinner.
Ugh.
And sleeping.
Chores.
That kind of thing.
Sleeping, the worst chore of all.
But mainly, just being on the internet. Yeah, just
going down those YouTube holes.
A little bit, yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting stuff happening on the internet, turns out.
Yeah.
Getting sucked into the YouTube.
No, not too much. If there's something interesting, I'll definitely check it out.
It is weird. I've started valuing doing nothing more and more.
Yep.
When you say doing
on
nothing,
longer walks and things like that.
Well, kind of, but sitting at home and just like randomly looking at YouTube videos, and an hour will go by and I'm like, I haven't actually like done anything, but I'm enjoying not doing anything.
Yeah, sometimes it's good for me just to take a break from everything and like entertainment. I'm really into podcasts right now, and so I've been listening to that podcast I recommended.
Try and get on one.
So I can listen to a lot of people just talk about things. Even like not even video game related podcasts.
I mean to ask you, did you finish the Disney audiobook?
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
I like everything that guy did.
Just for the sake of everyone listening, including myself, what the heck are you talking about?
Because we really like audiobooks
Sure.
And we have a job where we can listen to things and work at the same time without those sort of conflicting.
Yeah.
So audiobooks is a big thing, and we got on to, back in January, the Disney biography.
Okay.
Walt Disney biography.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, it was really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had no idea how much he sort of poured his life into Disneyland. Because I always thought that Disneyland was just almost like a side effect of the movies.
Right.
But
he really wanted to make a
he
theme
really
park.
went out of his way to make this thing, and it became his lifelong passion.
Yeah. He lived above it. Like he lived in an apartment above the fire station thing.
He did, and he
He used to like hang out, and I think he used to serve popcorn on Main Street.
Yeah,
and stuff.
he did. Yeah.
It was cool. He has a thing where he was obsessed with things, and he would just be, he'd go out of his way to then do as much as possible to contribute to that thing. Like when it was like he he didn't half-ass things. When he wanted to open up a theme park, he poured all of his resources into it, and it would consume him.
And his brother
Roy,
who was like the business, more business minded and looked after the money, really didn't like the theme park for a long time.
he was on a different level.
Yeah.
Because he would say these things, and you think a person at that level, when he says something, people around him should move, right?
Right.
He's already proved himself as a person. But everyone was almost scared of him, like, you're making a mistake, kind of second guessing him. It's interesting to just see the.
That sounds like a cool book.
Definitely.
I thought it was interesting how he would get bored with things that he'd previously been insanely passionate about. Did you sort of pick up on that?
Yep.
Like he would
Makes sense too.
Yeah, because he started off like really pushing just regular cartoons and that, and his whole thing was he wanted to make a studio that was self-sufficient and made these like shorts. They were called like Silly Symphonies, and once that became like a normal thing, he was like, well, what we should make a feature film.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, that's crazy, you can't have a feature film. And he put all his like effort into making a feature film.
Yep.
And then after many years, the feature films just became normal, and so he veered off into other things like the park.
Yeah, you're glossing over so many things, but like, man, no, I'm just trying to emphasize this point. Like, he did so many things. He invested in color, like projection, color movies, way before the competition.
Yeah.
He invented animation technique called squash and stretch. Like he put that into the mainstream. Storyboarding, everything, the entire pipeline of creating an animation, he implemented, and to this day it has not changed.
Because when you study 3D animation, you learn all the principles of animation, and in that book it would just casually say that they'd
in a sentence
done this
they
new
would
technique, and you're just like, that is a huge thing, but I guess the average reader doesn't really pick up on how important that was.
It's incredible. Yeah, so I've just been in a podcast, that kind of thing. A lot of audio stuff.
I want to hear that.
I can zone out a whole bunch and just consume. That's sort of my guilty pleasure. I like to just
listen to stuff.
In podcast. Yeah,
cool. You should listen to Planet Money. It's my favorite podcast. Actually, or maybe This American Life. I like NPR.
I never listened to This American Life.
Ira Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into This American Life, but there are some very. I stopped listening to them for some reason.
Well, that was silly.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I actually like a lot of who's the other, Radiolab?
Yeah, I should listen to that. I haven't.
So I'm a big fan of those.
Okay.
Just podcasts.
One thing I do is I marathon TV shows when I get home. I do the old Netflix marathon style thing. I've been watching Broad City. It's really good.
What's that?
Broad City is a comedy.
Okay.
About two women living in New York in their mid-20s. It's good stuff.
I think you were telling me about it last week a little bit.
Yeah. Got Hannibal Buress is in it. He's really funny.
He's in it?
Yeah, he's in it.
Stars in it.
Plays character called Lincoln. He's a dentist.
Very cool.
Fixes teeth.
I like his comedy.
Yeah.
Are you do you watch Arrow and Flash?
Nope.
No. Gotham?
Nope.
I actually haven't watched Gotham either.
I've heard mixed things about them. I'm always, I don't know. I think when I hear about those like comic book shows and movies from comic book fans who are like, it's the best thing I've ever seen. It's so awesome. It's so good. And then I watch it like, this is kind of, I don't know. So I just stopped paying attention to them.
That's what I was like with Breaking Bad for the longest time.
Oh, but yeah, Breaking Bad's actually really good.
Yeah, I know, it really is. But so many people were just like, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm like, it can't be that great.
Whoa.
And then of course it was.
Okay, that's what I was waiting for.
I thought you were gonna.
It's pretty good. I should probably talk about video games more.
Yeah.
That's what you guys have come here for. We have one more question from Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew. Who's Andrew?
Andrew's a good friend of mine from Wellington.
Okay. Hey, Andrew. Do you think companies should wait till they have a completely finished product before they ship/release it? Yes.
I'm going to go for a yes.
Well,
controversial.
I think in an ideal world, yes, but unfortunately, you have money people saying we need to get this out by this date.
I knew this is what was going to happen.
Right?
I knew this conversation would go down this way.
But yes, I think they should.
Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't happen like that.
But it doesn't happen because there's outside forces.
But I mean, the outside forces. Sometimes it's not. We need this thing out by this date. Sometimes it's we can use our. You can use our public to beta test for us, and in doing so, also promote the game. It's efficient and cheap.
Yeah.
And that's
early access.
Like, yeah, not just early access, but like the Halo multiplayer beta thing is like partially to test the shooting mechanics, I'm sure, but it's also a big part of it is like, keep in mind there's a Halo coming. Get excited for Halo. It's gotten
Well, I think I think along those lines, like when they say you get beta access, you pre-order something and you get beta access, it's kind of not really
a beta test. No,
it's a like marketing demo.
Yeah, we want you to talk about this with your friends.
Yeah.
It's in a good state right now.
Actually, dude, we did this. Path of Exile.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I know we did. Yeah,
and
but we
don't necessary.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it is cool. I mean, it can be a good way to generate buzz. What I don't like to see is when you've got these Kickstarters that will get you into like alpha, and and then they stop working on it really, and then you just have like a kind of crummy alpha. And they've technically
do you know many
fulfilled.
Kickstarters that have done that?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there was like one that was like about coding. You could code throughout the game and stuff.
Oh, okay. I remember hearing one. I think it was one where you were like, it was one of those survival games, but it was in prehistoric times and there was dinosaurs around. Apparently, people just stopped working on it, and that was
that's just crummy.
Yeah.
And I can see both sides of the art. It was like, okay, you're the developer, you really want to make this awesome product, you want your fans to love it, you get them in early, it's not in a great state, they complain, you're working on some of the problems, you run out of money, you can't keep working on it. I understand that, but like maybe you shouldn't have been working on that game in the first place. Maybe you should work on something with a smaller scope.
Yeah, it's a foresight thing. Like these guys should really do better planning. Like
sure, there are a lot of sort of crummy mobile games out there, but it's such a good way to get started in game development. It does. You don't need to make a successful mobile game to learn so much about scoping your project.
And you don't need to make a like highly successful one to actually make money too.
That's true. Yeah, you can make a little.
Because we were at that NZ GDC talk with, I think it was the Flutter people. Maybe I can't remember exactly.
Runaway.
Yeah, maybe. But they were quoting, like, they were saying things like, even if you're number 40 or something on the whatever chart, you're still making like a lot of money to keep enough money to keep your studio going and working on whatever you want to do next.
Yeah. But even when you enter something like that, if you to release something at 40, is he saying he's still working on it?
Oh no,
finished?
I mean this is just saying that you don't have to go out of the gate to a Kickstarter to create some kind of giant game that then is destined to fail because it's your first game you've ever made or something like that.
So I actually know a little bit about Andrew, and his example is Assassin's Creed.
Well, I get the feeling that is one of the publisher saying we got to get this out now.
Yeah. That is, I mean, Assassin's Creed is almost like an annual.
Yeah,
it's like the Call of Duty for Ubisoft in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and Ubisoft they will definitely have a release schedule way ahead. And if they have to postpone stuff, it's going to clash with stuff and
So those in the cases of the AAA titles. Yeah, they should definitely not release a buggy piece of garbage.
Yeah,
yep.
Because they definitely have the resources to make it amazing. And I mean, as a gamer, I don't mind waiting a couple months.
Yeah,
if it means I don't have a bad experience.
Yep.
And it was a Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft was the publisher.
Yeah, no, it's first party.
So they totally could just like push it back.
Yep.
If they wanted to, it's just that they've got whatever release schedule.
Yeah.
That they don't want to adjust.
And they probably had an accountant who said, well, we'll make this much money if we release it now, and we'll make this much more money if we release it then, but this is the cost of releasing it then.
But, day one
make
patch
sense.
or whatever, they'll fix it in the first, I don't know, week or something like that is probably what they justified themselves by saying.
Yeah,
I like the, I guess not many studios are in this position, but I like the Blizzard approach where even if the game is just straight up not working,
you can cancel it.
Just cancel it.
Well, yeah, Blizzard is
10 months, 10 years, just forget it.
There are very, very few developers who can do it. It's basically Blizzard, Valve.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who knows what Valve has made and cancelled?
Yeah.
Crazy.
A lot of
Half-Life
stuff.
3.
I'm sure a lot of stuff has been quietly started and cancelled. Well, I think that might be all we have time for.
Yeah, I guess.
Or it's definitely all we have to talk about. It's been a slow week.
Yeah.
So if you want, we'd love to answer more questions. So feel free to tweet at us. You can contact us at FrontSeatCast on Twitter, or email us some questions at frontseatquestions@gmail.com.
Oh, one last thing.
Whoa, one thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, exciting.
Did we talk about how we're on iTunes now?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we're on iTunes.
So we're on iTunes.
We're on iTunes.
We're on iTunes, guys.
Which is really cool. I was excited.
Yeah.
And we have a handful of listeners. We're hoping to grow this.
Yeah. Is there a way to see how many subscribers we have?
It doesn't tell you how many subscribers we have.
Oh, really?
So just the amount of people who've clicked and,
And by that, we estimate we have about 4 million, I think. 4 million?
I thought
think
you were
we're
just going to say
pushing
4.
5
I was like,
million.
yeah, that sounds about right. 4? Yeah.
We had like 200,
You
200 listeners.
I think my mum has listened to it, and I think that's our fifth
My
listener.
mom hasn't.
Yeah.
I haven't told her. I don't think she'd be interested. But yeah, so tweet at us. We want some questions at FrontSeatCast, or email us, frontseatquestions@gmail.com.
Cool.
And thank you very much for listening. And we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
I think... Okay. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Nick, you're a jerk.
Sorry. I'm just very skeptical.